since the inception, even before other people came into this place. And because this meeting is on the instance of the members of House, the legislatures, senators and people, some of them are still calling and saying, Dr. Mo, we are on their way. You know they are big men, big people. Because it's only in Nigeria that we have big people. Yet our infrastructures are down. Yet you turn on the light, you don't have light. Development is not grammar. Development is a system that works. And this is part of what we're going to be dealing with. So I want to say, because today we're not here to pacify anybody. So we're not calling any name in any regard, because they're going to come up and we're going to talk. But I can tell you that here today we have respected members of the House, and for those who we even had to force to come up to the fore, I want you to put your hands together for those Nigerians who are holding the flag up in the House regardless of the nonsense that is going on. We have civil society members who are here. Yes, we know that a lot of them are about stomach infrastructure, but what do you do with the 1% that are working? And for those who are here today, I'd like you to put your hands together for them, because we'll be celebrating them. I know I'm not going to call them, but we have the youth leader of the PDP here. We're not calling them, but put your hands together for PDP members that are here today. Put your hands together for them. If you look very well, you see the APC representative. Let's put our hands together for APC. I have another 80 person here. Yes, I can see Labour Party here. Put your hands together for all of them that are here today. This is what this meeting is about. It's a Nigerian meeting. It's about our collective reform. And I dare say, I see mothers, I see fathers, I see everyday ordinary Nigerians in this hall. Can we appreciate them here this morning? Put your hands together for them. And those watching from America, those watching from the UK, those watching from your home, those of you even in Abuja that are watching that have refused to come, all we need from you is to give us what? Your ears. Listen intently, because today we're going to be setting the agenda for Nigeria's electoral reform. You will understand why this event is very important, because a few weeks ago there are very important bills that are thrown away. And I'm telling you people, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not our problem. Our problem begins from the people that are Akpabio and all the other people are controlling. That's our focus. They are our problem. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president of Nigeria until 2027, until Nigeria decides. He's the president, and there is nothing anybody can do about that. But the people that controls the iron, the car is already moving. The mechanics, the mirrors and all that control the engine oil, those are the people we are going to focus on. The driver is not our problem anymore. Is somebody hearing me? The driver is already seated. But if engine finish for the motor, where are we going? If the bolts that are holding the tire comes off, do you know what is going to happen? That is our focus, and we're going to get down to it. But as we do that, I want to welcome my brother and my friend as we move into this, the most important conference in this country right now. We're going to begin to look at some perspective from the Africa, from democracy, and we pull it down home. He just finished a meeting at the African headquarters, African Union headquarters, just a few weeks ago. He's one of the young people doing us very proud. And we're honored to have him in our midst today. He's none other than Ambassador Dr. Young Pierrot. Put your hands together for him as he comes up to do his remarks.
What did you expect someone like me to say when you have Dr. Mo leaving a mic? You should have bring me up after somebody has spoken on vernacular. That would have been easy. Well, I'm not an English boy. I'm an African. I'm a Nigerian from Delta State, a local village boy. So if I'm speaking in English, in case I'm not speaking it very well, know that I'm that boy from the village. You can clap now. I'm a village boy. Yeah, I actually have a written paper that I want to talk on, but having Dr. Mo having the mic before me I won't go to that paper any longer. I will just have to say what I have to say, because you cannot give what you don't have. You can only give what you have. And I've listened to great men, and I've followed great men, and some of them are here, who I have learned with their footsteps. A great man once said, if you are able to see forward as a young man, it's because you are standing on the shoulders of fathers. And that brings me back to what we are discussing here today. Do we really have fathers in Nigeria that has put down their shoulders for young people to stand, to see? We are talking about electoral reform. I'll tell you, Nigeria is number 3 on that chart on reform. After Canada, you're talking about the United Kingdom. Then you see Nigeria before Netherlands, before China, before Russia. And I wonder, with all of these conversations that we've been having, what is the impact that we have? Someone once told me that Nigeria don't need reform. What they need is revolution. And I tell you, without reform, there is no revolution. And without revolution, there is no reform. You don't need to carry the gun, because in the African Union, we have silenced the gun in the past 5 years, and we're using our voice. And good enough, we have lawmakers who we are going to be holding responsible today, because they are going to deal with the subject. Because already, I learned that the bill is already in the House. But going forward, I will just tell you how it works. When we talk about electoral reform, the House of Representative members can put this out there. They can even pass it into law. But the people that will make this reform a reform are the ordinary citizens. And what are we doing to make this conversation top the charts? 5 years ago, we as young people in 2018, we come together across the continent of Africa, and we say we want to hold the African Union responsible for Africa not moving forward. We started with violence, but we did not achieve anything. We make enemy with the president and all of that, and they refuse us entering into the African Union. Until 2019, we had the Youth Connect Africa, and we were in Rwanda with all the head of state seated, and that's the largest gathering in Africa of young people. And I had a mic, and I said, what I have to say is on internet, you can see it everywhere today. And they said, I'm not leaving Rwanda alive. That was the day African young people got in touch with the seat of power. And we sat down, and they told us so many things that we need to know about what we're fighting for, about a better Africa. And after we left there, they offer us some huge amount, some envelopes, and we refused. We said we're here for Africa. And that singular act make them send us to high-profile meeting like the EFO, the FAO, all the alphabet you can see, and we'll find ourselves in the European Union where we have to discuss key issues that has to do with Africa. What brought us to that particular seat? It was because we learned to dialogue. We learned to put our actions, our words into actions. And whatever we're hearing today, we must promise ourselves that we're going to put it into actions. Now we left there and we came with the future is now. And shortly after, it was announced in the 26th session of the head of state meeting that Africa is now a word that every organization we use in Africa, and today you can see that Africa is now is what we're using. We went there, we sponsored a bill for the Aguashiro. Aguashiro simply means, in Rwanda language, simply means Africa solution for Africa problems. And today, Africans are taking the responsibility for that. And as I speak to you, we just left the African Union now, and we have come up with a decade of return, where we're advising all Black Americans, all our brothers in diaspora, to come back home to join us to build the Africa. That should be of interest to every one of us. Key thing we need to take here, without the people, there is no government. And now we have people we have few individuals in that house that want this change. As citizens of Nigerians, we need to support this bill. We need to support these people and speak out, because your voice is what will take us to where we want to go to. Dr. Mo made an example of the president saying it's not our problem. Actually, it's not our problem, Because if you are boarding the aircraft now, you don't see the pilot. Many of us have never met a pilot, but we see the air hostess. The Federal House of Representative members, the green chamber, the red chamber, they are how they call it, air hostess. They treat us well and they make the aircraft comfortable for us. And this is why today we are here to want to hear from them, and we want to hold them accountable, to let them tell us what they've been doing and how we are going to support them. And I tell you, as every Nigeria is in our DNA to make things happen. But oftentimes, we tend to let this thing lie. 2019, I ran for election to contest for Senate in Delta South Senatorial District. And why I went through that phase up to the primaries after getting my form, 7 million as at then, I was called to the APC headquarters with the then governor, what's his name again? Oshomole it was the chairman of the party then. And I was asked to step down for His Excellency Governor Emmanuel Ewota Udwan. And the reason they asked me to step down that I don't have the money to run for that election. And I cried. And they offered me money and I walked out of that money today. And after I left there, they lied that I collected that money. But the truth is everywhere today. Why am I saying this? I went to a statesman that has put down his shoulder for young people to climb in this country, and I told him my experience, and he said something. He said, if you don't have the power to fight the man, you go back and prepare. And that was the only lesson I took. As Nigerians, we've gone through one election and we see the bandwagon, we see the crowd that comes out. With the analysis and data available that Dr. Mo has put down for us now, we find out that we are all everywhere on the internet making noise. We did not go to vote. Now we're talking of electoral reform. How many of us will live here with this mind to say we are going to support electoral reform in Nigeria? Not just supporting electoral reform, we are going to come out to make sure it works. These are the kind of people that Nigeria need. We will not be able to change this Nigeria that we're seeing today, the economic power that we need tomorrow, if we are not speaking out, if we are not standing up. And by the grace of God, I see us standing and fighting for the Nigeria that we want. We are looking at so many issues. When you talk about electoral reform, I personally will be advocating for, if they will put it in that bill to sponsor too, we'll be advocating for diaspora voting. Because we find out that most of our best brains are all outside the country. And as I speak to you, 70% of us here want to japa. Because you are not seeing what will make you stay in this country. So where are you running to? People make that country. I will advise you stay. Let's hold people that we're supposed to hold accountable. Let's hold them accountable for them to make this law that will favor us. And I'll tell you, no matter how the executive say no, once the House of Representatives have their voice and they are ready to do the right thing, the executive will adapt. And we'll see a Nigeria that will be good for all of us. Thank you.
We'll be doing the national anthem. Now we're going to do the 3-verse of the new old anthem, and then we'll do the old new anthem. So can we rise as we take the national anthem?
We hail thee, our own their native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our foreign motherland. Our flag shall be our symbol, that truth and justice reign in peace, so battle honor, and this we can't escape. To hand unto our children, Nigeria may be blessed. Sorry, to hand unto our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty Nigeria may be blessed. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and mind, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul Kaz. When I become the president of Nigeria, you will be the one singing the national anthem. Anyway, no, that's just to celebrate Abdul Kaz. One more time, can we celebrate him? This is the best of Nigerians right here in this room, and it's quite very intentional. I don't know how many of you noticed that Abdul Kaz decided to do, because right now it's sometimes very confusing, because our current national anthem used to be the old national anthem, and the one that is old used to be the new, and he decided to combine them together. You know, right now in Nigeria, whatever the people do, you have to Nigeria we hail thee. And if you remember what I said in my introduction, we are not here to hail the members of House of Representatives. So the second one that he did is more like it for me, because he say arise, and I know that the people here, I don't know why Dr. Piper is looking at me with one eye, but we are going to arise to ensure that we hold them responsible. Anyway, both the old and the new are all beautiful. One more time, celebrate Nigeria here today. As we move on, I'd like you to listen to somebody who ran for a seat of government in Abuja. A young man who traversed every area of Abuja. I think he ran under the YPP, if I'm not mistaken. The next 5 minutes. But he failed. He's not in the house. And part of what we're discussing today is also to see the gaps of failures. But because we are carrying everybody, John Alphabet is here. In the next 5 minutes, let's listen to John Alphabet.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can you all hear me? Okay, so Dr. Mo first told me I should tell you why I failed. Elections is not a do or die affair. The participation makes you a winner. So if you participated in 2023 elections, clap for yourself because you won the election. And that's the goal of reformers like us in politics. It is to increase participation. It is to make the electoral process truly progressive. One of the things I love about the name All Progressive Congress is that word progressive. I ran under the platform of YPP, it's Young Progressive Party. And we are here today to talk about the progression in our electoral reform systems. I think Ambassador rightfully said it, that we are not short of reforms. What we are short of is progressive reforms. You can have a reform that is not progressive. What it adds to you is more arguments, more debates. But what we are looking for is not more debate in the electoral process. We're actually looking for more solutions. The 2022 Electoral Act, interestingly, was adjudged as one of the most progressive acts in terms of elections in Nigeria. Unfortunately, the first year that it was tried, it generated more concern for Nigerians. It generated more concern for our electoral process. And then it brings the question, what will be or what should be the agenda for Nigeria's electoral reforms? I'll just make a few remarks. I believe one of the things that we should be talking about today is the ambiguities we have in that Electoral Act. In section 60 and 64, that talks about transmission of results. It's still not clear whether it is electronic or it is what you call the paper document. One of the things that in setting the agenda we must look at is to clarify those things that makes it difficult for cases with similar facts to have different judgment. So you will see court A say, based on this fact, because this is not rightfully spelled as my name is, that you know that John, for us that speaks English, is spelled John, right? And as long as you speak English and you are bound by that term, John will be John in every court that you go to. Our Electoral Act is not as specific as that. We must be able to address those things that now create the loopholes that affect the legal electoral reforms. The other thing that I'll speak about is in setting the agenda, we must also have a robust meeting with the people who are going to use the act. You see, the law by itself does not implement itself. And the question I want to ask us today is that the reforms and the agenda we are going to be setting today, are we sure is the agenda of INEC? Because if you create a reform and you give it to somebody to implement, and it is not the same person, and it's not the same as the person's agenda, you may find it difficult to implement. As I close, our INEC chairman said something as part of his remark to what happened in Ghana. He says, in Ghana, their politicians don't decamp from party to party. That's true. I knew the current or the incoming president one-on-one because I studied in Ghana. And when we began the West African Young Integration Forum, he was one of those who looked at us. By the way, there was an ECOWAS Agenda 2015, who I'm sure my ambassador will agree with me that it failed woefully Because the agenda was to move ECOWAS from an ECOWAS of state to an ECOWAS of people. But are we an ECOWAS of people? We are not. We are still an ECOWAS of state. In fact, now, we are not even an ECOWAS of state. We are an ECOWAS of fragmented states. But what happened in Ghana just a few days ago is not because the politicians stayed in the same party and contested elections for the same position over and over. No, it is that the electoral umpire, to a large extent, remain objective, remain constructive in implementing the Electoral Act. So the election is not between the party, the election is between the umpire and the system that have been put in place. At the end of the day, I'll close with this. Let it not be that our flag is a symbol that truth and justice reign. Let it be that our reform, our practice, our participation is now the symbol that truth and justice reign in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
I just pray that those of us Nigerians across the world and those of us seated here, that this will not be just another meeting, that we're listening and hearing. Because there's this saying growing up in the barrack, they used to tell us, no, they hear word. Nigerians know they hear word. I pray that we will hear this word. Because now the word will know they hear. Now I make sure that things know they change. But I pray we will hear word. Because I will tell you, and honestly, this is not because I want to, not here to impress anybody. I've been 17 states in America this year alone. And everywhere when we engage with Nigerians, they don't discuss anything but Nigeria. They are very angry. They keep agonizing, but they never organize. Because Nigerians know they hear word. And they cannot come back home, and those at home too. And so we'll continue like this. May this event provoke us to hear the last phrase that John Alphabet spoke about. Amen. Because we are religious people. Amen. We're going to take another person. John Alphabet ran for House of Representative. This man ran for governorship. He also failed. In the next 5 minutes, I need you to listen to Deacon Kempela. Put your hands together for him.
Well, you know, the 2022 Electoral Act was something that gave everybody hope. It gave everybody hope because in the past, when you look at our elections, there were two major problems that they used to have. Well, three. The first had to do with the process of the primaries, where people that contest elections, you will try to contest during primaries, and then you don't win or whatever, and you move parties, and that heats up the system. That was supposed to have been taken care of by the provision that you could not contest for more than one position. Right? The same Electoral Act provided. Now, a second problem was the rigging that came with overvoting in terms of number of votes. Okay? That was supposed to have been taken care of by the beavers that controlled accreditation. Not so. Not so. The third problem was the rigging that came with manipulation of results. Because you could have a particular result at the polling unit, and then in terms of collation, when they announce results, the total number of votes collated will be 10 times what you have at the polling units. That was supposed to have been taken care of by electronic transmission. Not so. Not so. So that Electoral Act was seen as relatively perfect. And we all believed that it would lead to relatively free and fair elections. Right? But what did we find in 2023? We found someone who didn't contest for primaries is currently Senate President. Is it a problem of reform? Is it a problem that the law was not well spelled out? What did we find on election day? We found that Beavers was sidetracked. We found that the IREV was switched off. So, I wonder, now, let's look at what happened in Benin, in Edo State, in this last Edo State governorship elections. By 9 p.m. or thereabouts on election day, with the results on IREV, 90-something% had been announced, had been published on IREV, and PDP was winning with 90-something thousand votes. When you collate what was on IREV by 9 p.m. on Saturday night. But what did we find? By Sunday, APC had won the election. So, whatever reform we talk about, the problem is not the law. The problem is with those that implement the law. Now they do what they do because there are no consequences for bad behavior. Until the day Nigerians will stand up and say that there are consequences for what you are doing, we are wasting our time. If Edo State people had gotten up and said, this is not what it should be, you cannot announce this result because this is not what we voted for, do you think we will be where we are? So, I throw this poser. If we do not put ourselves in a situation where the people can stand up for themselves and say enough is enough and go, the one I won't talk so the few talks and the talks on kind, but until the people will be able to go to the house of the INEC chairman and punish him for the nonsense he's doing, this thing won't stop. We can talk about reforms from here to forever. The House of Representatives and Co. can do all the laws. They did laws in 2022. But we're still where we are. So Nigerians, you see, for some of us, you know, Edo State was quite a defining moment, because you start wondering, what are you wasting your time for? We had a president who promised his party, do you want me to give you Edo State? And he delivered. That is so. And we all saw it. Now, if that can happen in broad daylight, the question is, what are we wasting our time for? But I believe, why I'm still in this is because I believe that evil cannot perpetually prevail over good unless good men refuse to stand. So Nigerians, where are the good people? We need to stand for the future of our nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Can we appreciate the King Kampala? Because it is a Nigerian meeting, you would have to excuse me when I listen to people who won election. They speak differently. When you listen to people who fail, they also speak differently. Dr. Peter, am I true or false? Because we are going to bring people who are in the house here. You know, I love John ran for house and the Kimpella also ran for house. And they've come here to tell us if we don't punish these people and all of that. I'm sure by the time you hear other people too, who, because the first place, he's the Jagaban of Lagos. We are preparing and getting ready as we move into the nitty-gritty of this. And we're taking notes. He made very concrete, serious submissions here today, and we're going to ensure that we interrogate each of these submissions today. But as we move to the next level, I want you to relax and listen to another Nigerian. This is a highly patriotic Nigerian who has, in every facet of the world, represented Nigeria in all level and also with his artistry. Let's listen to Favor Johnson.
Let's put our hands together once again for Nigeria. All right, so the song is titled Possibility Nigeria. So tell your neighbor, Nigeria is possible. Find yourself a new neighbor and say, new neighbor, Nigeria is possible. All right, I want to use this very moment to also celebrate High Chief Peter Ame. I want us to put our hands together for him. I'm a son of the soil. I'm from Benue State, and I'm a Nigerian. Can I get a better version of that song, please? I'm hearing only the sub. So, possibility, Niger. Okay, he's asking me to wait. So, we finally got to the point where we say, Dr. Mo, maybe you should come when they are ready. I think there's a plan already. Sorry about that. Thank you very much.
He'll be back. We are live and people are watching. We cannot afford to any glitches here today, because part of this meeting is also to ensure that there are no glitches. Okay, we'll take let's do this. Abdulkaz.
Can you give me more volume here? Correct, good.
Let's appreciate Abdulkaz one more time. Whoa! All right.
Possibility Naija.
See Nigeria is possible. Please let's appreciate them.
Who create this tunnel when we dey under the wait for so long? All things are possible to them that believe. We no go gree for anybody who create this tunnel make you no see. For the end we no be right again. Like Goyakpa for this Naija. We no go take bribe again. We no go give bribe again. Politician no go get the money pass businessman from Naija. Never say never, never say die. Things go better in this Naija every day. All things are possible to them that believe. We never lose hope, we never give up. We keep fighting on and on in this Naija. In this Naija. All things are possible to them that believe. Possibility, oh, possibility, Naija. Hey, possibility, Naija. Better days to come. Better days to come. One day bag of cement go be 2-5 in this Naija. If you believe, if you believe, all things are possible. We no go give bribe again. All things are possible. We no go give bribe again. All things are possible. Politician no go get the money pass businessman for Naija. One day bag of cement go be 10K in this Naija. If you believe, if you believe, all things are possible. All things are possible. All things are possible to them that believe.
Stop the music. All things are possible to them that believe. Can we sing together? Come on. Everybody. All things are possible to them that believe. When I say all things are possible, you say we no go take bribe again. Are you ready? Are you ready? One more time, let's go. Dum, 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 dum. All things are possible. We don't go take bribe again. All right, thank you very much.
Favor Johnson, thank you. Thank you. We'll move to another segment of the people here in the next 15 minutes. We're going to hear, in five minutes, we're going to hear from some civil society groups, some leaders of, corporations, and then we will move into the interactive session. I know that we spoke yesterday. He was in Kaduna and he made it up here. He's none other than the DG of the Big Tent, one who has traveled and canvassed the entire nation, is here today. We just want to hear some remark from Alhaji Ibrahim Abdul Karim as concerning setting the agenda. Can we welcome Alaji Ibrahim Abdul Karim, quickly.
I know I'm taller than you, so maybe I have to remove the mic. Good afternoon, all. When I saw the poster, Mo called me and said, there's a kind of conversation we need to have in 2024. Not people talking about who is deputizing who is going to be the next president. That will take care of itself in 2027. But for now, this is the conversation that's supposed to be in front of us. And when I saw the title that the CSOs are going to be here, and I can see the big names here, I get more excited. Because if we keep